Hey everybody, welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we're going to bring you our top 9 in 9 minutes best games of 2019 that I didn't get to play. So these are the games that came out last year that I really want to play but just didn't quite get the chance. Hopefully, looking at this list, at least one of these is going to get remedied in about a week from now, week and a half. So very excited for that. But we're going to get right into this list right after I tell you about our sponsor, Board Game Co. Now this is a fantastic website for you to go to buy great games. They've got great prices over there. You can sell games to them and you can trade games with them. They've got a great trade system over there. They have this whole value system set up to make it easy to figure out what games you can trade for what other games. They can link right into your Board Game Geek account, and if you've got it set up there on Board Game Geek where you've checked off which games you want for trade and which games you have available for trade, they can use that information to make it even easier for you to find viable trades on their website. So be sure to go over to Board Game Co. It's a great place to buy, sell, and trade your way into a better collection. I also don't mention our giveaway. The game box is down there. I can't get to it right now. There's a medium flat rate box that I have packed with 9 different games. And those games are yours if you are the lucky winner of our giveaway. Be sure to go to the link in the description below and you can find a way to enter that contest. Lots of great ways to get entries into the contest. And like I said, it is a medium flat rate United States Postal Service box. So that'll give you an idea of what type of games might be in there. Are they good games? Well, at least 1 or 2 of them are good games. I'd say 1 or 2 of them are even really good games. And there's some good games, and there's some other games in there that are 100% definitely not good games. But it's still exciting, right? And like I said, you're going to be getting a couple good ones in there. 9 games are yours. Be sure to figure out how to enter that contest by going and checking out the link in the description below. All right, so without anything else, let's get to this list. Like I said, 9 games that I wish I'd gotten to play that came out last year, starting right now. First up, we've got Judge Dredd: The Cursed Earth, which is a re-implementation of the Lost Expedition, I believe is what it was called. And this is a game where you basically it's a card game. You're playing cards, you're working your way through, in this case, Mega City. In the original game, it was the jungle. And you're working your way through trying to get to the end, trying not to, fall victim to all the various calamities you're going to find in Mega City. The Judge Dredd IP is something that I think is really cool, and at least in modern gaming hasn't been used to the point that I've seen. I know there was another Judge Dredd game that came out recently as well. I didn't check that one out either, but this one has my attention. I really want to check it out. That's Judge Dredd: The Cursed Earth. Number 8 is Paladins of the West Kingdom. Now, Paladins of the West Kingdom is the latest game in this ongoing series of games from Garfield Games, I believe is the name of the company. They started out with Raiders, the Raiders series, Raiders of the North Sea, and Voyagers of the North Sea, or something like that, Explorers. But now they've got this West Kingdom. They had Architects of the West Kingdom, which looks really good, and I want to try that one out as well. Paladins is a worker placement game. Paladins of the West Kingdom is a worker placement game. Has all kinds of fantastic choices. The artwork, I really like the artwork in all of these games. Basically, every single game that's come out in this series is something that I want to try, and I haven't gotten to try any of them yet. Paladins is the one that I'm hopefully going to get to try here in about a week and a half. I'm going to hang out at my buddy's house for a day, just play games all day long, and he has Paladins and has been raving about it. One cool thing with Paladins is it has a solo option, which is something that I definitely look for in my games these days. So Paladins of the West Kingdom is my number 8. Number 7 is DC Deck Builder Rebirth. Now, when I first got into the hobby, I was very interested in trying out DC Deck Builder, and then I found out about all these issues thematically that didn't make sense, and while I don't have to have a theme that makes sense in all my games, when it's a game that's, a comic book game, the theme is pretty important. And the fact that there were some thematic issues with DC Deck Builder initially is something that made me kind of stay away from it. Now, I don't know if they fixed all those issues with DC Deck Builder Rebirth, but it does seem that they have ironed out some of the kinks. And as I understand it, there's a campaign system here in this version of the DC Deck Builder, and the DC Comics that's what I grew up on. I Superman, I was subscribed to all those comics in the beginning, back when I was in elementary school, middle school. Love that stuff. DC Deck Builder has a theme for me. I'm hoping it'll also have the gameplay for me as well. Number 6 is Brook City. Now this is, from what I can tell, basically like a Bad Boys movie in a board game. It is the, not realistic police work, not like I don't know, Chronicles of Crime or any of those games, which also look fantastic, but this is like your action movie cop board game. And it is you're going through Brook City, you're solving crimes, you've got these little crimes over here, little crimes over there. You have a bigger overarching crime, or maybe series of crimes that you're trying to solve, as I understand it. You have the big bad that you're eventually going to get to at the end, and you are just living a cop action movie, which seems like a pretty cool theme for a board game that I have not really seen that much of. Most of the ones that I've seen have been more realistic, which again is very, very cool, but this brings something different. Number 5, Atlantis Rising 2nd Edition. So I played the original Atlantis Rising. I even have videos here on the channel for how to play for it, gameplay for it, and I liked it a lot. There were a few issues with it that made it where after I played it, I stopped seeking out a copy of it. I had borrowed this copy to play. Atlantis Rising 2nd Edition, for everything I've heard about it, is that it is fixed everything that was kind of wonky with the first edition, and it's made it better, made it more engaging, more just really brings you in even more. And then on top of that, the artwork is fantastic. And I'm blanking on the artist's name right now, but he's one of these artists that everything he does I absolutely love. And I'll be sure we stick his name here in the bottom third, because that is a huge draw for me for this game. So that is Atlantis Rising 2, 2nd edition. Number 4 is God of War, the card game. Now, God of War was not a video game I ever played, but I did sit and for an hour at a time or so watch my buddy play God of War during college, and it was always such a cool game to watch on the PlayStation. The card game looks really, really cool. I believe it has a deck building aspect to it. The mythology of God of War is something that I find very, very intriguing. I love deck building games as well. It seems like a natural fit, and it has, you're working your way through these different scenes, I think they call it. I can't remember. Basically, you have, this area that you got to work through, and then after you beat it, then you work through the next area, and if you beat it, then I believe after that you fight the boss for that particular scenario you're playing, or something like that. And the whole time you're leveling up your deck. Lots of different characters, or I don't know if it's lots, but there are different characters from the God of War series for you to play as. So you have that ability to have, different, what I'm looking for. Your characters have different abilities and stuff. I'm blanking on the term there. Number 3 is Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth. This is a app-driven game where you are exploring Middle-earth. You're going through, you're fighting orcs, you're fighting all the bad guys, you've got the magic going on, the sword play, the bows and arrows with the elves, and all kinds of stuff like that going on. It seems like it is a lot of fun. It has an exploration aspect to it. It's got a campaign, which I'm always a sucker for a campaign, despite the fact that I have yet to really, really buckle down and finish one. And I'm working on that right now, which is why you still see Kingdom Death set up, has been for several videos now, because I'm working through this campaign and then I'll move on to another one. But Journeys in Middle-earth just really seems like it is going to scratch that Lord of the Rings itch that Lord of the Rings The Living Card Game didn't quite do for me. And you can go back and watch my review of that from way back when to see why that was the case. Number 2 is Cloudspire. Now, out of all these games, Cloudspire is probably the one I know the least about in terms of actual gameplay. What I do know is that everything Chip Theory has put out has been gorgeous. I know that Too Many Bones is one that I absolutely love everything about that game. In theory, I haven't played that one yet, but that's one that I really need to get my hands on. And then here's Cloudspire, the latest one that they've put out. It has solo capabilities. It is, I believe, player versus player as well. So that's interesting that it's solo capable, but also player versus player, if I'm reading that right. And all the characters are like these poker chips, and so it has that cool kind of tactile nature to it. And I believe you build up your spire, and you're trying to defend your area. The board itself is made up of this mouse pad type material that looks really nice on the table. So that is Cloudspire. And my number one game that I really want to play from 2019, Clank Legacy. Just played Clank in Space the other night. That is one that is always so much fun to get to the table. I introduced it to a buddy of mine, and he loved it too. Clank in Space is a fantastic game. Clank Legacy takes place in the fantasy version of Clank, which is the original version of Clank. And it, of course, is a legacy game. So you are making permanent changes to the game. Now, what I think is cool about this one is, from what I understand, it is designed with the intent that when you finish the legacy campaign, you have now created a board that is yours and is unique to you and is now yours to play and continue playing Clank on that board, which is really cool. Clank is another deck building game. It is all about trying to go the farthest down into the dungeon, or in Clank in Space, deepest into the spaceship, and stealing something and getting out before the big bad finds you and kills you. So those are my top 9 games that came out in 2019 that I did not get to play, but really want to play. Hope you enjoyed this list. Please give it a thumbs up. If you liked any of the games you saw in this video, be sure to check the links in the description below for where you can purchase a lot of them anyway, maybe not all of them. Purchase a lot of them, and a little bit of that will go to help the channel out. And of course, be sure to check out my sponsor. Link in the description below for that. And of course, be sure to check out the contest. And until next time, if you're bored online, board offline.